This photograph shows the European Parliament, the legislative body responsible for what is widely considered the highest standard of digital ethics in the world. Through frameworks like the General Data Protection Regulation, the AI Act, and the Medical Devices Regulation, the European Union has built a formidable legal wall around the personal data of its citizens. Tech professionals and legal scholars point to these regulations as highly effective mechanisms. By setting strict compliance standards, they successfully lock down sensitive health data and place severe restrictions on unethical AI development. But while Europe legislates its internal data market into a heavily protected fortress, a massive physical infrastructure project is quietly connecting that fortress directly to the global south. Strict internal regulation does not automatically stop unethical data practices. Instead, it creates a powerful commercial incentive to offshore the extraction process entirely. Consider the 2Africa subsea cable project, driven by a consortium that includes Meta, China Mobile, and major telecom operators. This initiative represents a massive physical expansion of global network infrastructure. The engineering scale of the project is immense. It involves laying 45,000 kilometers of fiber optic cable, physically wrapping around the entire African continent. That cable connects to 46 distinct landing stations across 33 countries, the vast majority of which are low- and middle-income countries. Built by Alcatel's submarine networks, the system utilizes spatial division multiplexing across 16 fiber pairs to achieve a design capacity of 180 terabits per second. The 2Africa cable is a purpose-built, high-capacity pipeline, directly bridging the world's most heavily regulated data market with its least regulated. To understand why this pipeline exists, we have to look at how modern machine learning works. Training medical artificial intelligence requires massive, high-quality, and highly representative health data sets. Inside the EU, developers face an immediate technical bottleneck. Electronic health records are highly fragmented across member states, built with inconsistent formats and lacking interoperability. Even when the data is structured, commercial barriers stand in the way. European hospitals, insurers, and private companies treat their patient data as a valuable asset, making it prohibitively expensive to acquire at the scale required for AI training. The European health data space is an ongoing initiative attempting to standardize these systems, but progress remains slow and technically complex. European developers have the capital to build advanced medical AI, but they are starved of the raw material required to train competitive machine learning models domestically. This data starvation problem is compounded by a severe legal barrier, the General Data Protection Regulation. This logic model represents GDPR Article 9, acting as a hard filter on data collection. It categorizes health information as special category data, imposing a general prohibition on processing it. Limited derogations require either explicit consent or strict public interest justifications. Layer on top of that the newly enacted EU AI Act, which explicitly demands that developers use error-free, representative, and unbiased datasets for building high-risk medical AI. Taking these laws together, domestic health data collection becomes legally perilous, financially ruinous, and technically unscalable for rapid commercial AI development. However, the EU's protective legal framework has a specific geographic limitation, found in GDPR Article 3. Look at this geographic map. Article 3 applies only to data processing within the EU or targeting individuals inside its borders. This creates a jurisdictional loophole, providing zero legal safeguards for health data extracted from low- and middle-income countries, provided subjects aren't EU residents. By locking down the internal market without securing the external supply chain, the legislation creates a massive financial incentive for regulatory arbitrage. Technology consortiums secure access to this offshore data by directly funding the physical digital infrastructure of these developing nations. These investments are almost always framed as philanthropic initiatives. Meta projects the 2Africa cable will boost Africa's GDP by $36.9 billion through digital inclusion. Legal scholars call this practice data colonialism. Free Wi-Fi and subsea cables function as structural entry points, facilitating the massive, unregulated datafication of local populations. This foreign-owned digital infrastructure creates long-term technological dependencies. It extracts local health data for corporate use without equitable benefit sharing with the host nation. In the context of AI development, global connectivity operates as a prerequisite engineering step for establishing a legally unhindered data extraction pipeline. There is a historical precedent for this exact behavior: the offshoring of pharmaceutical clinical trials in the late 20th and early 21st centuries. We can see this in AstraZeneca's Seroquel trials, or in cervical cancer screening studies conducted in India, where informed consent protocols were routinely bypassed. The mechanism of this historical arbitrage is well documented. Pharmaceutical companies bypassed strict Western regulations by conducting unethically designed placebo trials in the Global South, gathering data to develop drugs that were then sold in high-income markets. AI data extraction is the digital iteration of this exact regulatory evasion strategy. Just as strict clinical trial laws once pushed unethical human testing to developing nations, strict data privacy laws are now pushing unethical data mining to those exact same vulnerable regions. The EU AI Act does attempt to close some gaps by regulating the output of foreign AI systems, provided they are deployed within Europe. But this framework has a fatal flaw. It fails entirely to protect the input, the human data collected under weak or absent legal protections abroad. This systems diagram illustrates the complete extraction feedback loop. The EU enacts strict regulation. Big tech builds infrastructure in low and middle income countries. Unregulated data flows north via subsea cables, and monetized AI is sold back to the global north. This continuous loop ensures that the social and economic benefits of medical AI remain concentrated in high-income countries, steadily deepening the global AI divide. Regional technology regulation cannot exist in a vacuum. Without international frameworks tying data extraction to equitable benefit sharing, stringent local laws will only accelerate global data colonialism.